Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are tackling a topic that I am sure every single one of us has struggled with at some point. Procrastination. You know the feeling. You have that big project, that important email, that workout you promised yourself you'd do. It's sitting there waiting. And what do? You clean your entire apartment. You watch one more episode. You scroll endlessly through your phone. Then the guilt and anxiety kick in. You start telling yourself, I'm so lazy. I have no self-discipline. What's wrong with me? Well, I'm here to tell you something that might just change the way you see yourself. Procrastination isn't about laziness. Not at all. It's much deeper than that, and understanding the real reasons why we procrastinate is the first step to finally breaking the cycle. So, if it's not laziness, what is it? The latest research points to one major culprit: our emotions. Procrastination is essentially an emotional regulation problem, not a time management one. Think about it. When you face a task that makes you feel bored, anxious, insecure, frustrated, or resentful, your brain's natural instinct is to protect you from those negative feelings. It's a survival mechanism. Your brain says, hey, this task feels bad. Let's do something that feels good instead, right now. And that something good is often an easy, instant gratification activity like watching a video or checking social media. This gives you a temporary mood boost, a little dopamine hit. The problem is, this relief is short. The task is still there, and now you have the added stress of a looming deadline and the guilt of having put it off. It's a vicious cycle. The task triggers negative emotions. You procrastinate to feel better, which then creates even more negative emotions. Let's break down the types of feelings that often lead to procrastination. First up is anxiety. Maybe you're worried you're not good enough to do the task well. This is perfectionism in disguise. The fear of not producing a flawless result is so paralyzing that you'd rather not start at all. If you don't start, you can't fail, right? Another big one is boredom. If a task is monotonous or uninspiring, your brain craves stimulation and will look for it anywhere else. Then there's resentment. Ever had to do something you felt was pointless or unfair? That feeling of I shouldn't have to do this is a powerful trigger for procrastination. And finally, there's just plain old overwhelm. When a project is huge and complex, looking at the whole thing can feel like trying to climb Mount Everest in flip-flops. It's so daunting that your brain just shuts down. I don't even know where to start, it says, so I won't. Now, you might be thinking, okay, I get it. It's my emotions. But how does that help me actually get things done? This is where the magic happens. Once you stop blaming yourself for being lazy and start treating procrastination as an emotional issue, you can use a completely different set of tools to tackle it. The goal is no longer to force yourself to do the work, but to manage the uncomfortable feelings associated with it. This shift in perspective is a game changer. It's about working with your brain, not against it. It's about building self-compassion instead of beating yourself up. Because, let's be real, has calling yourself lazy ever actually motivated you to do anything? Probably not. It just makes you feel worse. So, let's get practical. What are some strategies we can use? The first and most important step is to cultivate awareness and self-compassion. The next time you find yourself procrastinating, pause, don't immediately jump to something. Instead, ask yourself, what am I feeling right now that's making me want to avoid this task? Is it anxiety, boredom, confusion? Just naming the emotion can take away some of its power. Then practice a little self-compassion. Acknowledge that it's okay to feel this way. You could even say to yourself, it's understandable that I feel overwhelmed by this project. It's a big task. This isn't about making excuses. It's about treating yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a friend who is struggling. This simple act can lower your stress levels and make it easier to re-engage with the task. Once you've acknowledged the emotion, you can use strategies to make the task itself feel less threatening. One of the most effective techniques is called the 2-minute rule. The idea is to commit to working on the task for just 2 minutes. Anyone can do something for 2 minutes, right? Set a timer and just start. You don't have to finish it, you just have to start. What often happens is that once you begin, the inertia is broken. The task seems less scary, and you might find yourself working for much longer than 2 minutes. This technique directly combats the feeling of overwhelm because it lowers the barrier to entry to almost nothing. It's not about writing the whole report. It's just about opening the document and writing one sentence. Another powerful strategy, especially for large projects, is to break it down into tiny, manageable steps. That overwhelming feeling often comes from looking at the project as one giant, undefined monolith. So get granular. Instead of putting finish presentation on your to-do list, break it down into things like research topic A, find 3 key statistics, create slide 1, write a draft for the introduction. Each of these small tasks is far less intimidating. You get a little sense of accomplishment every time you check one off, which builds momentum and positive feelings around the project. This turns a source of anxiety into a series of small, achievable wins. It rewires your brain to associate the project with progress, not panic. Let's also talk about managing your environment. Your brain is looking for an easy escape, so don't make it easy for it. This is where some of the classic productivity advice actually becomes useful, but we're applying it with our new understanding of emotional regulation. If you get distracted by your phone, put it in another room when you need to focus. Use website blockers to prevent yourself from mindlessly scrolling social media. Create a dedicated workspace that signals to your brain, this is where I get things done. By removing the temptations, you're not relying solely on willpower. You remaking it easier for yourself to stay with the uncomfortable feeling of the task for just a little bit longer, which is often all you need to get started. You're essentially helping your future self make better choices. And what about the emotional side of things during the task itself? It's important to find ways to make the experience more pleasant. Can you pair a boring task with something you enjoy? For example, listen to your favorite podcast or music while doing chores or data entry. This is called temptation bundling. You're linking an action you want to do with an action you need to do. Another great technique is to promise yourself a reward, and I don't mean just at the very end of a huge project. Plan small rewards for completing those tiny steps we talked about earlier. Finished a difficult section of your work? Great. Take a 5-minute break to stretch, grab a cup of tea, or watch a funny video. This creates a positive feedback loop and teaches your brain that getting work done leads to good things. To recap, procrastination isn't a moral failing or a sign of laziness. It's a human response to difficult emotions. The key to overcoming it is to stop the cycle of self-blame and start practicing emotional awareness and self-compassion. Identify the feeling that's causing you to avoid a task. Acknowledge that the feeling is valid. Then, use practical strategies to make the task feel less threatening. Use the 2-minute rule to just get started. Break down large projects into tiny, non-scary steps. Manage your environment to remove distractions and reward yourself for the progress you make along the way. By shifting your approach from forcing productivity to managing your emotions, you can build a healthier, more sustainable relationship with your work and with yourself. It's a process, and you won't be perfect overnight, but every small step in this direction is a huge win. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this reframing of procrastination helps you as much as it has helped me. If you found this video valuable, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I'd also love to hear from you in the comments. What's one task you've been putting off? And what's one strategy from this video you're going to try? Let's support each other. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.